Then YouTube got a video here from Novara, I believe they're called. I believe, as far as I'm aware, they're a leftist, socialist, if not communist outlet, and they are wanting the Greens to take over take London boroughs from the Labour mafia. So this video says. So let's see what these cringe idiots have got to say.
Something big is happening in London. On the 7th of May, thousands of councillors and hundreds of councils will be up for election across the country. The polls suggest Labour is
Yeah, I mean, in certain parts of the country, not everywhere. So, for instance, there's none in my area, so it's not everywhere.
in for a wipeout, mostly by Reform UK, but in inner London, mostly by the Green Party. Now, London
What do you mean mostly? Oh, I suppose. Hold on, let's just go back.
UK, but
Like 4 boroughs. I don't know. I don't think it's wiping them out, but I mean, yeah, it's taking parts of London that should have been Labour, I suppose, ordinarily speaking.
in inner London, mostly by the Green Party. Now, London has long been a Labour fortress. It's where the Prime Minister, David Lammy and Wes Streeting have their seats, and where the party controls most of the local authorities and has done for years. But the party's own internal polling suggests the cracks in that rampart are beginning to show. We're here in Lewis.
Hallelujah. I am very glad that the cracks are beginning to show in Labour. I am not a big fan of the two-party system. I dislike both the Conservatives and Labour, and I would like to see them both go extinct, if I'm quite honest with you.
Lewisham. Then we'll be heading to Hackney and Haringey up north of the river to find out why Labour is pranging and why the Greens are so confident they can win.
I would say that here in Lewisham, people feel as though their vote has just been taken for granted. You know, Labour has been dominant for years, right? There's been a lot of sort of Labour dominance across London, but it's particularly acute in Lewisham, right?
See what I mean? I got some like Gaza dickhead giving a talk here. I mean, he's not wrong with what he's saying at the minute, but I imagine there's going to be some ideology inserted into this with his poxy little badge.
Because at the last
So you can't actually see his badge. He's got a Palestine badge on, but it's behind my arm.
election in 2022 and at the election in 2018, every single councillor elected was Labour, right? No opposition, right, whatsoever. What that breeds is complacency, it breeds groupthink, and it just means as well that officers within the council can run roughshod because they know that there isn't really any of that strong democratic account.
Yeah, and I would say I come from a stronghold of a certain party, and it's good to see that finally the councillors know that their time is up and that they're now going to have to fight for those council seats.
There isn't any of that strong scrutiny.
Has your vote shifted over the past few years, or is it going to shift this election?
No, I've voted Green for quite a long time. I'll continue to vote Green. This time around, I've lived in Lewisham for 15 years. I love Lewisham. It's a really thriving borough. I would hate it to get a bad press because it is
How brainwashed is she? She didn't even have to think about any of this. It's all like ba 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 straight out of her mouth, like some kind of propaganda tool. I mean, I wouldn't be able to just like go and talk at length in such a way for who I'm voting for. You know, she's been brainwashed.
a really lovely place to live, but I do feel the Greens could probably do more for us than Labour can at the moment.
Designed with people in mind, Lewisham Gateway offers new homes, retail
Yeah, I'm going to say it looks like a shithole, if I'm quite honest.
spaces and leisure facilities, bringing new life to the heart of Lewisham.
Lewisham Gateway has been an unmitigated disaster, right? And this is a development that only a couple of years ago, you know, Lewisham councillors were trumpeting, saying, "Oh, this is a fantastic, achievement, 20 years in the making." But the filigree in the Lewisham Gateway, which was meant to house 400 residents, is currently sitting empty. All those residents have been moved out of borough. They've had to go as far as Leatherhead and Maidenhead because of an electrical fault, a failing with the building, right? That basically got flooded, right? And
Get to the point, man. You're like long-winded.
that was meant to have retail units. It was meant to have a cinema. And all of that is just sitting empty in the middle of Lewisham Gateway. There is no community there, right, that they promised, right? And it's also, really telling that Labour has selected its mayor.
Have you ever noticed how these left-wingers are all so feminine? Like, listen to his voice. He talks so feminine, man. He doesn't sound masculine at all.
Mayoral candidate, Amanda Wright, who until
He's always up talking. Always
very
up talking.
recently was a consultant for Muse Places, which was the key developer for Lewisham Gateway. You know, just a couple of years ago, Amanda was writing about how Lewisham Gateway was a brilliant example of private-public partnerships. And, you know, private-public partnerships is why we're in this mess in London. Housing is probably the most salient issue for most people in London, and we are a national party. I think we've always had policies that touch on, you know, things that stretch beyond the environment. Obviously, housing is also an environment.
Well, you should hope so if you're ever going to get elected. Like, nobody's ever going to vote in the Greens for to be the to form a government based solely on the sort of. I'm forgetting the words; it's completely escaped me. But based on ecology, anyway, never going to happen. People, you have to understand that the voter is more self-obsessed than that, and they're going to care about like their immediate family, their town, their county, the country. They're not going to care so much about whether like polar bears are dying and stuff. And like I don't want animals to go extinct, but at the same time, I have other issues closer to home that I need to resolve that are more important than, you know, the environment.
Environmental issue. So we go to people's homes on council estates. They're living in damp and mould. They're living in absolutely horrendous conditions because the council has not properly maintained their properties. They haven't.
I mean, he's still right in this part. You know, they should be maintaining them. They shouldn't be wasting money on these sort of endeavours and then not using them adequately.
Retrofitted their properties. They haven't made them, you know, more energy efficient, right? And that is obviously a key plank of any green agenda.
Notice I keep saying right. So he's like trying to buy you onto his side as though like right, so you agree with him. I mean, I do agree with his point overall that you know the habitation should not be wasted, but you know I'm pretty sure I'm going to disagree with him on many other things.
Well, this is a HMO house I live in, and basically we've got like rogue landlords. We've had sewage in the garden, which is my only access. I live in the rear of the property. They left it like that for 3.5 months. It happened like 4 times in a year, continuous. Nothing's ever been done.
So the Labour Party in Lewisham and
I mean, it is refreshing to see that, you know, people walk up that the Labour Party isn't the vote for the working man. I've had to tell people this many years over the past 2 decades. Like, oh, well, Labour's for the working man. I'm like, no, they are not, you stupid twat. Do you think that the, you know, certain areas that have been Labour strongholds would be quite as impoverished and poor compared to the other parts of the country if they indeed were putting the working man first? No, it was a lie. But eventually, everybody's even woken up, even all the stupid socialists.
and all of the Labour MPs that represent Lewisham declined or didn't respond, I should say, to Novara Media's request for comment. What do you think that indicates about Labour's feelings about the upcoming local elections?
They are very, very worried. You know, I know for a fact that some of their internal polling is saying that they could lose the council. So they're incredibly worried about what could happen in Lewisham.
So the Labour Party is controlled.
Yeah, of course they are. They're all going to lose their jobs. Like, of course they're going to be worried. And this is why, I mean, this is one of the reasons I personally will never go into politics. There's multiple reasons, but one of them is just like, why would I go get a job that like I can be voted out of at any given moment? I mean, there's other reasons besides that, but that is definitely one of them as well.
Lewisham for many years now. They haven't even had any opposition until last year when 2 of their councillors became Green Party. Do you think that that's going to continue? Can you see Labour Party continuing to control Lewisham?
No, because like I said before, my dad obviously was brought over in Wimrush, worked on the buses. As a kid, he always said vote Labour.
And I will say, just for you ethno-nationalists watching this, you're crazy as well to think that like you were going to kick out members of the community such as him when his family's been here for generations. You know, he's essentially British, not as British as some of the rest of us, but still certainly much more British than these that are coming over on the boats. And this is why I can't get on board with any ethno-nationalism, because you're drawing the line in the wrong place.
But the last 4 or 5 years he's fed up. He ain't even voted. He said there's no point. And then this reform thing, you get a lot of mixed signals and people saying all different things about it. So I don't really follow it like that.
Have you heard about the Green Party, or are they not really on your radar?
I heard about them, but honestly, I vote.
If the Green Party was to say, like, you know, we will in-house the council's repair
That's what they all say. They all promise.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, based. based. You don't believe the Greens. She's frantically trying to sell him on the Greens, and he's having none of it. Well done, my man. Well done.
It's the world, and like I said, none of them come through with their words. So that's politics for you.
Yeah. The Greens, Reform, they're all going to lie. I mean, as much as I'm personally more on the restore side of things, and even then, I don't look at Rupert Lowe as being like some kind of saviour. It's very likely that Rupert, if he was elected, he would start lying to us and start betraying us. I'm pretty sure of that.
We've just hopped over the river on the Windrush line, coming from Lewisham, landing in Hackney. One of the epicentres, arguably, of...
I like how she had to throw in that they came on the Windrush line as well. I mean, how often did you have somebody mention if they came on any of the other lines? I don't think so. And they're so transparent, these socialists.
The North London Metropolitan Elite, and the Labour Party has controlled this council since it was created in the 1960s and has had the mayoralty since that post was created in the early 2000s. But, and a big but, that could be about to change.
Hallelujah. Let's make it so. Do it, London. Vote out these Labour knobheads. Yeah, like, even if it's the Greens, I would rather see Greens in these seats than Labour, to be quite frank with you. At least the Greens are going to mess up so bad that they don't get in ever again.
And in the 12 years that you've been knocking on doors, how has the response of Hackney people to you changed?
It's just a sea change. Like, people really know who we are and what we're about, and that is to do with the decades that we've been working hard in Hackney. We've got our 4 Green councillors now, and people see us out and about. They see us on picket lines. They see us, showing solidarity of Palestine, bringing people's voices into the...
Why? Why do people of London care about Palestine? It's an external issue. Yeah, these people are bonkers, man. I don't see them talking about Nigeria. Nigeria is currently... There's Christians dying there all the time, but no, because it's Christian victims and Muslim aggressors, we can't talk about it. But when the Jews are bombing the Muslims, we can talk about it.
Chamber. And then obviously in the wake of Zach Polanski getting elected and then the Gorton and Denton win, it's just so different. People are saying to me on the doorstep, I've always liked you guys, but I never thought I could vote for you. Or I've seen you've won in Gorton and Denton, let's do that here. People are excited about that alternative. So it's
Well, yeah, they're probably excited to have a alternative. I wouldn't say I'd be excited to vote for the Greens. I am happy that the two-party system, not the two-party system has come to an end as such, but the two main parties are facing extinction. I am incredibly happy about that, but in regard to voting for people like the Greens, no way.
Completely different. I think that's a combination of what we've done locally, but also, what's happened nationally.
So, Rachel, tell us about your journey to becoming a Green Council candidate in Dalston.
So, my journey, I suppose, more so into the Greens is because my son was permanently excluded from school twice in year 7. It's had a huge impact on us, and the only person...
What is this? She joined the Greens because her son was excluded from school twice? What logic are we using here? It's complete... supreme lack of logic.
Responding in this time of crisis was Zoe Garbutt. As I got more and more involved community-wise, and then discovering that Hackney actually have the worst level of exclusion. We had 52 permanent exclusions in the last full academic year, for example. That's the highest level in the whole of London. We've got 1,600 children missing from education, which is the highest in the country. And when you see this then compounded with, income deprivation levels and, disproportionality of black and global majority communities or children particularly represented in these numbers, that's why I got involved.
You're a local business owner.
Yes.
What's your experience been of the Greens in Hackney?
So I first met Zoe just kind of on the street here. Funny story, actually, that someone put a cigarette out in that bin over there and it set on.
Man, they've all got really soft voices. I'm being a bit facetious there, not quite that high pitched, but they've all got very, as I said, very feminine voices, the men that are running or associated with the Green Party.
Fire, and Zoe helped me put it out. And then I met Rachel. She's been helping me find a cafe space, which I've been trying to...
Cafe space? It's so effeminate.
Take the next step for a few months now, and there's a couple of council-owned empty spaces. Meeting Rachel and Zoe, their immediate will to help was amazing. They were like, wow, we need to be making money everywhere we can. Why is this empty? Maybe we can help.
Tell us a bit about why housing and not just sort of
the worst room you could have ever conducted this interview in. My room's got less reverb than this. Wow. I don't have any soundproofing in my house as well. And yeah, have you heard the reverb in this room?
Residential real estate, but let's say commercial real estate like Ridley Road, which is also another big theme of yours.
Amateur Hour from Novella Media, or whatever they're called. Novera? I don't know, I don't really care what they're called.
Why have they become so central to your politics?
I think the way that developers have been able to.
What's with the cut? Yeah, you know, like proper softballing Greens here. Like, oh, we'll just edit out the bit that you said that we didn't think were good, and we'll edit in the part that's all right. I mean, every video I've pretty much made has had no editing in so far. There's been a couple, I suppose, where I've tried to make my own video essays, but you know, like editing out part of an interview. Suspect.
Run around this city and make millions off the back of a housing crisis is a complete injustice. You know, in Hackney, we've seen primary schools closing because families can't afford to live here. Homelessness in London's gone up 23%. People are seeing their estates being destroyed and they're left in limbo for 10 years while they wait for, you know, things to happen. And that's all because they're kind of developer-led decisions. And we have a planning system that favours developer profit over the housing that we need. And it's seen as an asset and a commodity rather than something that people need to live in and have a safe, secure home. And I think honestly, it terrifies me to think what the city is going to be like in, say, 10, 15 years' time at the rapid development that's happening. Because
it's the development. It's the development that's the problem. No other reasons, lads. Don't use your trend noticing skills to think that there might be other issues besides development in London. It's sheerly the development that's the problem.
The land that people's homes sit on and or the market sits on. You know, as a London Assembly member, I've visited estates and markets all across the city who are facing exactly the same issues, whether it's Queen's Market over in East Ham, whether it's Shepherd's Bush, whether it's, Ridley Road.
I mean, maybe we should just all blockade London, not let anybody in or out. We'll create his own little Gaza.
So we are at the top of Ridley Road Market, the historic street market that has served the Dalston community for over 100 years. It's also the epicentre of a massive dispute between property developers and local residents. Now, obviously, this is prime real estate. Surrounding us are beautiful, glittering high-rises that have been built over the
That wasn't what was behind you then, you liar.
past few years, turning Hackney into what it is today, which is one of the centres of gentrification.
Oh, gentrification. Are you having a laugh? I'm sure there's not been an influx of rich people coming into Hackney and poor leaving. I am pretty damn certain that's not happening.
In the UK. But locals do not want developers coming anywhere near this historic site. And right now there is an active dispute between one area of the market, a few hundred metres down that way, and the landlord, who's been trying to evict the market traders for the best part of 10 years. Why do you think they're trying to push you guys out?
There's a lot of different reasons that they're claiming.
Tough shit, get out. It's not your land.
Which I can't see through it at all.
You don't need to. You don't need to. It's not your land. You've been asked to leave, so leave. Like, if my landlord kicks me out, you think I'm going to go argue with him? No, I'm not.
I think more is about the council and these people are bed in bed with one another, innit?
Tell me about...
I mean, he's right there, but tough shit, get out.
About that. How has Hackney Council supported you or not supported you as a market trader?
We haven't had no support from Hackney Council at all, because what a lot of people don't realise, this market where we're in here, the indoor, is a private building. Hackney Council is only in charge of the street market.
Yeah.
You understand?
And so have you tried to reach out to them to kind of help you to negotiate with your landlord or help you in any other ways?
They were part of the process, but they didn't do anything to make it better because they were supposed.
So they want you out too, that's why. I mean, in this instance, I agree. Get out. If you've been asked to leave, move. You don't own the land, you're merely renting. Get out.
Supposed to lease the building, the whole building. And
as in Hackney Council was supposed to take hold of the lease, control of the lease.
For 15 years, and they decided they were only now, after they renovated part of it, they decided that they were going to take the top floor alone.
Has the council come down here to see you guys since you've started your occupation?
Like I said, the council was supposed to be a part of the plans, but then the way they're operating is like they're working more to get us out rather than working with us.
I grew up
Of course they are. Of course they are, because there's money in it for them. If they kick you out, they will be able to essentially receive backhanders from anybody who wants to renovate the land, etc. While I'm not in favour of that, I do think that, you know, whoever owns something has the rights. And if he owns the land and he wants you to get out, then you get out. Staying is cringe, man. Cringe. But I will leave this video here anyway. There's another 10 minutes or so left on this. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description. And yeah, feel free to like my video and subscribe to my channel if you so desire and you want to see me dunk on more Green Party stuff moving forward when I can get my words out. And I'll see you in the next video.